starting today a new concept
Yes.
of panel discussion. And today's topic for the panel discussion is Foundry raw material, localization, opportunities, and the challenges. For today's webinar and panel discussion, we have a team of experts in their own subject. We have Amish Panchal, we have Anand Bam sir, we have Nitin Landge sir, we have Jaydeep Bapna sir, then we have Manish Patrikar and Amar Patil. And we have one more person is as a coordinator is Nagesh Duma. So this is our team for today's panel discussion. Actually, when we decided this topic, the thought come around is what is actually mean by localization, what we're going to discuss on particular localization. So when we talk about the localization, what we come across is the vision given by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji. That is about the basically Make in India, then global to local, and Atmanirbhar Bharat are the vision which they have seen. And to start with that vision, what we need is to start Make in India. That is for our own supplier to grow and grab the market in the local way. And when it comes, there is an opportunity for our local suppliers, local manufacturers to grow and expand their business. But at the same time, there will be many challenges. So today's discussion is basically on that. What are the opportunities and what are the challenges? And our panel members are going to discuss the same. So I'm not taking much of the time now. I will shift the system to Mr. Nagesh Duma, who is the coordinator for today's session. So hand over to Nagesh. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. Thanks and good evening, everyone. As Sandeep rightly explained, this is our first type of a panel discussions, and we have taken the subject of foundry raw material. What are the opportunities and challenges? How we will proceed in the program today is the opening already had. We will give a short introduction of panel, and we will discuss very quickly foundry industries with unique challenges, what is meant by raw material localization, and then every panel member will express his views on the topic, and then we will have open question and answer. Okay, so our esteemed panel today, as most of you know, most of them, I will introduce Mr. Amish Panchal, who is from Castwell Foundries, Mr. Anand Bam, who is an independent foundry consultant and well-known name in industry, Mr. Amar Patil, he is from Mahindra and Mahindra, he is plant head over there, Mr. Manish, he is from MPM Nagpur, Mr. Nitin Landge, he is a managing director and owner of Gokul Ferrocast, and Mr. Jaydeep Bapna, also owner and managing director from Mutha Group, Satara. So most of the time what we have seen is this panel is a quite good balance of raw material manufacturers, suppliers, and raw material users. So you will be getting beneficial from both point of views on the subject topic. Yeah, we know foundry, it's an industry with a unique challenge. And to be honest, foundries has a huge potential to make losses, but very less probability to make profit other than above the margins. What are the challenges? Typically, we know in Indian scenario, we have challenges like manpower, technology, finance. Raw material is also a key challenge for us, supply chain efficiencies and industry consolidations. But today we will be covering the topic of raw material. So when we discuss raw material, what are some of the challenges? Basically, the raw material, apart from the scrap and pig iron, other than alloys, additives plays a very critical and vital role in overall product costing. Most of the time, alloys and resins are technically not known to the foundries. The foundries know either them by brand name or by manufacturer, but to be honest, the know-how regarding the technicalities of these is very less at the foundries. I'm not saying not, I'm saying it's very limited. Most of the foundries, they are not capable to check what they are getting as a raw material. They can check scrap, they can check pig iron, they can check few of the alloys, but not every raw material which is having impact on their cost elevator product quality. They are not in position to check them. Variation in the batches of the raw material, this destroys or this put additional pressure on the people who are controlling the processes. A price variation, to be honest, is also a challenge. So as I have said, today is our panel who are including raw material manufacturers, suppliers, end users, and consultants. Recent trend we have seen is towards the localization. rather than just doing it for the sake of patriotism, we would like to really discuss this topic, whether it makes sense, whether it do not make sense, what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the typical risk which can come if the trade pressure between India and China increases. So all these topics we will discuss. And then I would like to start now the open discussion. I would request Mr. Amish Panchal to start his discussion regarding the participants. I would like to request you that after the discussion of the panel, you are allowed to ask the question and answer. It will be open question and answer. I would request you to just mention the name to whom you would like to address that question. Like if I would like to address a question specifically to Bam sir, I will first say that Bam sir, this is the question for you. May I know this, like that? That is my request. So over to you, Amish.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, good evening,
Amish.
friends.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
good evening. Good evening. Yeah. Welcome all the panel members and fellow participants. It is great and novel idea to have such kind of panel discussion online. I think this is unique for the foundry industry itself. None of the foundry industry association or anyone has done this kind of panel discussion. It is a good experience. Let us start. Nagesh, shall I run with my presentation or
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's why I stopped my screen. So you
okay,
can run.
just a minute. I'll. New technology, some new challenges also.
Yes. Now we can see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. First slide is not coming, but let us forget that. So this is my second slide. What is export is concerned? So this is a trade balance of India with its top trading partners. There is nothing to explain other than US and China. Both are in agreement. So this slide is self-explainable. Of course, we see the huge difference between China's trade and India's trade. Now, what are the top 5 export markets of India? So these are the charts, and this side it is on the import market. So if we see, US is the largest, and import-wise, if we see, China is the largest. And these are the few of the products which is mentioned, like petroleum, jewelry, diamond, medicine. This India exports, and what we import: petroleum, coal, gold, diamond, and LNG. These are the major products which we import. Now, what is our today's aim, or what is the main aim of this panel discussion? There are two thoughts going on. Like Sandeep ji said, our honorable Prime Minister given a slogan that Atmanirbhar Bharat. So most of us, or many, are confused that is it Swadeshi and Atmanirbhar? What is the difference between these two? So Swadeshi, as per my understanding, it is no or less imports, no MNCs, everything. We have to be a self-contained country. And Atmanirbhar means minimum import, MNCs are allowed, everyone is allowed, but we are self-sufficient. This is the basic difference. So we have to decide what is our aim or what we are achieving out of this. Now, if we see the history, India has seen the attacks of Turks, Afghan, Mughals, French, and ultimately British. They were the last one. As a race or as a country, we are too much accommodative and adaptive. We have accepted all of them without much of the resistance. And we always see what is our benefit. And second quality of our Indian, which I could say, is we are a loner. We are non-community or non-cooperative kind of working people. We lack in a long-term vision. And lastly, it should not be spoken, but we have minuscule national pride. That's why these attackers or invaders got stable or stayed in India. So with these challenges, how we can be Atmanirbhar or maybe Swadeshi, or how we can localize or reduce our imports. That is the challenge with India. So can we be 100% self-sufficient? So what is the situation now? I have divided in three categories: iron foundries, steel foundries, and copper and aluminum foundries, which are the main elements, metallics, and some of the non-metallics also important. So all these lists, from scrap to sand, everything is being imported. Here, this table shows whether this material is available locally or not. We are not discussing about the quality of the local product or quality of the imported product, or what are the advantage and disadvantage. For per se, whether this material is available in India or not. So if we see, the scrap is available, and the last column shows what is the imported component in this product. If it is available in India, like if I say my product, ferrosilicon magnesium, if I choose this, imported component, though I manufacture it in India, imported component is 20 to 35%. Rest of the raw material comes, I'm sourcing from India, but imported component is 20. These are the various, as per my assumption or knowledge, I have kept this percentage. So we have to see what level we want to go. Similarly, if we go for steel foundries, scrap to zircon sand, scrap to sand, what are the local percentage and what is locally available? Other than some of the ferroalloys like zirconium, tungsten, niobium, nickel, it is not available locally. Rest of the things are available. Of course, and sands, zircon and chromite sand is not available locally as far as my knowledge is there. Similarly, for aluminum and copper foundries, if we see, so scrap, ingots, alloying elements, most of the alloying elements of the non-ferrous foundries, other than copper, nothing is available or produced in India. Everything we have to import. Fluxes, filters, and tooling, yes, it is available, but I'm not sure about the imported component of that. Now, if we see the total important or ferrous metallics materials balance, if we can say, how much is being produced, how much we are exporting, and how much is being imported. So first and foremost is iron ore. Import is 0. Export, yes, we are doing 1,61,000. Pig iron, I'm unable to get the correct data, so I've put a question mark where the correct data is not available. So this table shows that what is our status today. Most of the foundry men are concerned with the ferrosilicon. What is the silicon? So India produces about 1,20,000 tons of ferrosilicon, and equally imports 1,92,000 tons of ferrosilicon. So these are of course, I don't want to go line by line because this presentation will be available on the net, so you will be able to see the things. So these shows the status. Now, if we see the scrap, if we want to do indigenization, or tomorrow we say that we want to stop everything, but HMS, which is common for steel foundry as well as some cast iron foundries, 3 lakh tons we are importing. These are the sum of the bifurcation, what kind of scrap we are importing. Similarly, from whom and what we are importing and exporting. So particularly for ferroalloys, this chart shows for ferroalloys. Pardon me for the small figures, but China, we are exporting a highest quantity of ferroalloys, though it is different from the common perception. And import wise, we are importing a lot from Bhutan, and that is majorly ferrosilicon we are importing. And China, we import the 5th. China comes the 5th in as far as import of ferroalloys is concerned. Now, let us see why we import. What is the basic logic? So it is a management principle, QCD. Everyone knows. Quality may variety of compositions, like some compositions, 75 grade ferrosilicon, if I say my product, it is not available in India. Some of the compositions like a higher barium, particularly required for inoculants, or higher grade of ferrosilicon zirconium, which is not available in India. So that is the major thing. Better performance, better appearance, that of course goes with the machinery, availability of the material. Then cost wise, if we see, it's a wide difference between cost, then perceived benefit. We say that, okay, imported material, it is good. Then delivery point, it is prompt response from all the exporters. The number of suppliers are more, you have a wide choice. Then bulk supply, of course, whatever quantity you require, and assured supply. These are the few points. Now, again, we have to ask ourselves, what is our aim? Only China or globe? What is right now, due to COVID and tension at the border, we are looking only at China. But as an Indian or as a nation, what we want to do? We want to fight only against China, or it is against the world? Nagesh, please stop me if my time is over.
No. You are well in time.
Yeah. So if we see the balance, of course, China weighs much more, and that is true for not only for India, but all the countries in the world. Certain products, China is the only source, and huge cost difference. That is the biggest advantage of importing from China. I'll skip this slide. Only thing I'll try to draw attention, what China exports to India, metals, 4.72 billions. And if what India exports to China, metals 2.6, and if we see mineral, which is iron ore, that is 3. So altogether 5.6 billion we export to China, and we import 4.72 billion. So that way, if we see per se, we are trade positive with China, particularly in metals and ores are concerned. Now, what are the challenges faced in localization? Here I have put my thoughts in 2 slides. First is in this slide contains by foundries. What are the challenges faced by foundries, and what by raw material or equipment manufacturer? Foundries, if they want to buy locally, their main concern is high cost of product, non-timely delivery, consistency problem. Unfortunately, they say that Indian suppliers or local suppliers are profiteering or opportunistic. They have opportunistic approach, and many times we have seen that also. Lack of new technology. We are very poor in introducing new technology. Minimum or no technical supports. Lack of systems. And added advantage of locally sourcing is a less inventory cost for the foundries. These are from the foundries viewpoint of view. Now, from the viewpoint of raw material and equipment manufacturer, what are the why they are facing a problem in localization? Non-availability of some raw materials. Second is non-willingness or no time to execute or evaluate the cost benefit vis-a-vis local as well as imported products. Non-timely payments by the customers. Minimum support during the trials, because customers do not have time to go through this pain. Scale of operations, of course, compared to the larger players of the world, most of the Indian producers are having a challenge in that. No loyalty from the customers. Customers change the suppliers. We are not talking about the large organized sector. I'm saying from the view of whole industry, if we say. And last threat is from traders. If manufacturers wants to localize and supply from here, but traders have no limitation. They can import from anywhere and put a challenge. Now, what are the challenges? Indian manufacturer, local manufacturer walks on a tightrope. On the one side, it is a large player from other countries and MNCs, and other side, it is from China. So what are the threats or challenges local manufacturer is facing? From MNCs or large player of the globe, brand name, of course, better products, scale of operation, larger scale of operation, better technical supports, deep pockets, advance and timely payments. Of course, we have to import, so we have to pay in advance. Or if foreign supplier is there, we tend to pay on time. And last but not least, still we have some white skin advantage or perception in our mind. What about the Chinese competition? Cost of the product is the main thing. Quality becomes secondary when the cost difference is so huge. Market entry policy, they have a specific market entry policy or company specific policy. Scale of operation is large. Pricing policy is totally different or ununderstood, how they price their products. And government support, still question mark. Currently it is not true, but at some point of time, it is there or not there. Now, what are the solutions? Nothing is possible overnight. We should have 5, 10, and 20 years strategic planning as a nation and industry. How much we want to localize, what we want to localize. Second point is we don't need to invent the wheel. Learn and copy from them. Them means anyone. We have to duplicate their models. Reverse engineering of products and practices. This is important. Not only products, but their practices also we have to reverse engineer. Of course, here we feel that we don't want to end up in copycat, or we don't want to call as a copycat. But that is how all the leading exporters of the world, be it a Korea, China, Taiwan, they have learned, and we have to do that. Buy technology and not products. We have to identify the technology which we can absorb and which is within our reach, and we have to indigenize that thing. Take a baby step. Start with the low hanging fruits, like people say that stop application from XYZ country, or stop buying their products, or something like that. And last one is world over, this being now increasingly it is being followed. C+1 policy means China plus one more supplier. So identify few items and second source for items. Start with 5 to 10% of your requirement. You cannot overnight replace whole your requirement. You have to see the cost, delivery, and other challenges also. So to take a first step, start with 5 to 10% of your requirement as a replacement as 5. But to me, this is the most interesting. We should not blindly oppose the imports from any country, but we have to challenge ourselves how much value addition after that imports we are doing. Like if we see the case of the diamonds, India imports a lot of rough diamonds and we polish it and exports. So that is a job work. We don't want to end up doing that kind of thing. Instead, if we turn into a jewelry, the value addition is much more higher. So if we, in our field also, we have to look at that angle also. Now, last two slides, government policy. Everyone looks for government, but currently I was attending one EPC seminar, and the gentleman clearly list out that what is the government's priority sector. First is healthcare equipment. Second is pharmaceutical, where active pharma ingredient, 90% we are importing, our pharma industry is importing. Similarly, electronic goods comes third. Mobile, 80% of the Indian mobiles are coming from abroad. We are not manufacturing. Sports and toys, 80%, and fifth comes automobile, where our industry may fall. So this is the government's priority to localization. And this is the last slide. What is traditional want? I don't want to repeat that because everyone knows. Till now, we are asking government support in all these 7 items or maybe more. But what should be our wish list from the government? We should ask for the technology transfer support. How government can help us in transferring the technology from any country. Faster depreciation. That is what as a businessman or manufacturer I'm looking at. Iron ore export restrictions. Why? If we have a surplus steel or pig iron in India, manufactured in India, our scrap is our major raw material for our industry, and its prices are linked with steel and pig iron to some extent. So if we do that, our total raw material cost may come down. Fourth point is R&D and reverse engineering by central research institutes. And fifth is best practice manuals. Like if I want to make a core shooter in India, which is world-class quality, what are the top manufacturer of core shooter in the world? What are the practices or quality standards they follow? At individual level, my reach is